Hello, welcome to Introduction to Archaeology. I am Dr. Caryn and I will be your instructor for this semester. And what I want to do with this introduction is just give you a little bit of information about me, give you a face to put to the name and to the sound, the voice you'll hear for the remaining of the semester in the lectures. I don't usually have my face floating in the corner of the lectures, and so this is your big chance to see that. And I want to just give you a little bit more information about me, let you get to know me a little bit more, and certainly when you're done watching this video, ask any questions that you might have. So, about me, I am a Southwestern archaeologist by training, meaning that I did most of my work in the American Southwest, and so when you look at this map on the upper right-hand side of your screen, that is the location of the American Southwest from an archaeological standpoint. Most of my dissertation research was done in the area just south of Mesa Verde, so down near Cortez, Colorado. I looked at some pre-contact, pre-agriculture and post-agricultural sites there, and I looked at a lot of technology in that area. I've also worked in southern New Mexico. I've worked in northern Arizona. I did my master's research in northern Arizona, and I've worked in Utah. So I've sort of worked all over the American Southwest. I've also worked in other areas like California and the Plains, but most of my time has been spent in this Four Corners area. Overall, as an archaeologist, I'm generally interested in flakestone technology. I absolutely love anything about technology, but I really love flakestone technology. I'm also into agriculture and the transition to agriculture. I like looking at the way people were before agriculture, the way they were after, and really, honestly, mostly looking at how that technology changed. I'm also kind of interested in pre-state societies. Once the state happens, it's not that I'm not interested, it's just it's not my favorite thing to look at. I think that we accomplished so much as humans before the state appeared on the landscape. So these are my main foci, but even though that's what I had to focus on, I find all of it really interesting, so which is why I love teaching this class. I also, if you look in the center of your screen, you see a B, and that is a symbol for a publisher called Bergon Books. Sorry. And what I do for them is I acquire archaeology, museum studies, and heritage titles. So what happens is if somebody wants to write a book or they want to edit a book, they will come to our press and they'll say, hey, I've got this book idea. And what I do is I assess the book idea. I send it out for review. I read through their proposal, and we decide as an editorial team whether or not this book is going to be worth it for our press to publish. That's what I do in addition to teaching at Front Range. I teach on campus and online. And then the last thing I do is I raise those 4 kids in the picture on the lower left-hand side. I have 3 boys, twins, a middle son, and then my youngest is a girl, obviously. So that's me in a nutshell. Definitely ask any questions you might have. Now, some things about me, just going into this, because I've asked you to sort of talk about your archaeological interest. I've been an archaeologist for over 25 years in varying capacities, sometimes as a field archaeologist, sometimes as a project manager. I'm an editor, I teach, and so in a lot of different capacities I've been an archaeologist, and I love it. I just love it. This is my favorite thing ever, is archaeology. I love being in the dirt. I love trying to figure out how people lived in the past. I love looking at how it affects us. It just really is such an awesome field to be in. And when I first went into archaeology, I said to my undergraduate advisor, I just want to do archaeology. And he said, you've got to pick. You can't just do archaeology. You can't do it all. That's how I ended up in the American Southwest. But the reality of it is my favorite time period, and which is what you see on the screen, my favorite time period is the Paleolithic, specifically in Europe. I really feel like we developed as humans during that time. And so the happenings during that time really fascinate me because you see this sort of cultural explosion, and we'll see that when we get there. This class, I love teaching this class, but this class is impossible. World prehistory and sort of the idea of it should cover everything that happened with people over the entire globe from sometime around 3.5 million years ago, give or take, depending on the region. So if we have covered all of this at a constant rate, from the earliest evidence of bipedalism to the invention of writing, we would have to cover over 1,600 years of world events per minute of class time. We would get to the pyramids of Egypt about 3 minutes before the end of the class, or so. So we're going to have to be a little bit selective. We're going to look at a bunch of interesting periods, sites, and problems, roughly in chronological order. We're going to use the techniques we start with early on in the class to really see how archaeologists interpret the past. And then what I'm hoping it'll do is give you an idea of what's happened in the world as well as how much there still is to know. And what we're going to focus on is what happened in the past and how we know it. And we're going to do methods of archaeology on the side as we go. So I'm going to lead with some basics, and then as we go along, I'm going to ask you to really consider how we know what we know. So that's it. That's me in a nutshell. That's the class in a nutshell. Definitely ask any questions you might have, and I will see you online.